Hello, we're here on YCS Bologna. This is Antonio Oliva, has made the top 64. What's the event, Antonio? What's going?
Yeah, so the event was really stressful. We had little time to prep. We went through a lot of decks on the team and ended up throwing them all in the bin last minute, and we just chose to play Ritual Beasts. It was quite the challenge because it's a pretty complex deck. A lot of people are very scared of playing it because they think that it's very difficult, it's hard to like learn how to combo with it. But it felt like a good, strong option, especially against all of the fire decks. We expected a lot more fire than it ended up being. Europe is always crazy, or at least less meta heavy than the US. But we did see a lot of variance, and that was fine. But those were the decks that we struggled with. We usually always won against the fire decks. I played against 2 Tenpai and 3 Snake Eyes between Fire King and Pure, and I won all of them. The deck performed beautifully. We also had a pretty good matchup against Mermelt, but I didn't have to face any. And I ended up losing to some decks that were not in the radar, so I'm happy with the prep. Everything worked out as planned. The plan was a bit different from what ended up happening, but yeah, pretty happy with my result.
Okay, Antonio, let's see the deck list.
Sure. So Ritual Beast is mostly very standard. The engine at least. So there's all of the 3 offs. There's Elder, SBTL, and the 2 engine generators. There's not much to say about this. This card feels like the heart and soul of the deck. It's so good, it does so many things. Elder, of course, is a card that usually you want to see in every hand, and of course you need either of these to play. There are lines, of course, that you can do to try to get to this if you don't open them, or if you don't have a way to search them. But usually, yeah, your strongest options always start with these guys, usually with these. The deck does have quite a bit of ways to get to all of these pieces, which is very good. I ended up breaking only once in 12 rounds, well 13 considering Top Cut, and yeah, the deck was very solid. There's the one-offs, there's the 2 girls, the girl and the furry, and then the 2 furries. We ended up, so these are pretty standard. I don't think anyone is skipping any of these 4. I have seen a lot of people skip on Dolphin, but Battlefin is very useful. I used it a lot to break some boards. It's great into Desiree boards. In general, it can out some really annoying monsters that like you don't want to ever like pop or banish, because if they leave the field they have like effects. You just bounce them to hand. Also, it lets you get rid of like annoying spell traps, because this deck is not that great into spell traps. Usually only can get to popping like 1 or 2 per turn. So just having more ways to do that is nice. Also, I wasn't very confident with the deck because I had been playing it for very little, just a little under a week. So just having one more piece that I could like try to wiggle in the lines in case I messed up, or in case I didn't know how to get my way into the optimal line. It helped to get to that funny rank 4 that we'll see later. As for extra consistency, the Prosp, 3 Inheritance, and 3 Teleport. Prosp was really nice. It's a shame that in this deck you always have to like Prosp for 3. It's really hard to Prosp for 6 because you use every single piece of your deck at least once every game. And so you usually can only Prosp for like utility cards, but still like just getting to see 3 more cards in your deck gets you to these different pieces that can let you play through a lot of stuff. Inheritance felt amazing. I've seen some people who are not that fond of playing 3 of these. This felt like one of the best cards in the deck. You can always pivot to whatever piece you need. Of course, you are 1 card down, but usually with this deck, you generate so much advantage that as long as you get to play, you're gonna be fine. The attack dropping effect comes up a lot, and the battle position switch is very useful. I ended up using it a lot, especially to like OTK, deal damage through defense monsters, and funnily enough, outing a Baguska with Kimon Falca stag out. You just put an attack and it stops the floodgate. Finally, teleport felt like the worst consistency card. You kind of need it because it's still like one free body, but I don't think I know the deck deep enough to be able to like fully use this. And burning a special summon for a card in hand usually isn't that great. At least it felt like to me. So out of these 7, if I have to have an extra consistency card, I would prefer these 4. But I don't know. Some more people who are more experienced with the deck think that teleport is really good, and I didn't have the time to go very deep into it. I played it, and it performed fine. Finally, we're playing steeds. I'm usually not a fan of decks that have to play in-engine trap cards, but since this deck searches basically your entire deck during your combo, it's fine to run one. It also serves as a discard for Ulti Gaia as a banish, so it's really versatile. You can recover it with Rera. Really good. Finally, the funny cards, the reason to play the deck in my opinion, is Protoss and Flag. This is basically what we were theorizing. We can always Protoss Fire. There's a lot of ways to get into Protoss Fire. So we are going to be good against most of the fire decks, which we expect a lot of. Drawing either of these is really good, especially this one you want to draw into boards. This one drawing first is really good. Yeah, if you draw this, you can just like combo, get a ton of negates on Ulti Gaia, not have to worry about ever making a rank 4, and then you just draw Flag and you win the game. Really good. I mean, it's a floodgate. You can't beat that. And speaking of floodgates, the best card in the deck, best card in any deck that can play this. Yeah, Shifter's amazing. It's a shame that people pivoted away from decks that lose to Shifter in this event, playing with Kashtira cards, because this card usually like wins every game that you see it in. Of course, that's why people were afraid of playing decks that entered too hard into Shifter. But yeah, every time I saw this card, I won the game. So I didn't see it in top 64, and that was a shame. But I mean, my opponent got to play. I can't be mad about them. Finally, some more floodgates. Droll felt like the strongest floodgate that we can, the strongest hand trap that we can run that is not Shifter. It helps in stopping Fire King. That was basically the biggest concern, as we wanted to make sure that we could stop very consistently all of the strong combo decks. It isn't that great against Yubel, but we are also less concerned about Yubel as we were about Snake Eyes, and this hits the Azamina line very very hard. More hand traps. 3 Ash. You need this to play against Bologna and Fulos, and this always goes first. When you go first, you always side Ash. You always run Ash. But also we were maining it because of Tempai. We wanted to always win game 1 against Tempai, so we chose to run Ash and main. Same thing as for Golbai. I think this is pretty standard in Ritual Beast decks. You just don't want to lose to the Charmies. The deck can play and do certain things under Charmies, especially Parolia, but if you can avoid this situation, the better. And finally, 3 books. The card count is 40, so we had 3 more slots, and we chose books because we thought that they were kind of versatile into fireboards. If they don't end on a link, you can just book the entire thing and their board is gone. It can be used defensively. It can stop OTKs, very relevant against Tempai, and yeah, we thought that it would be kind of good both as a defensive and offensive option. I ended up not needing it defensively. I never had a card Veilered or Imperm that I needed to book, but I booked plenty of Desirees and fireboards that I was very happy with. I'm very happy with the list, at least with the main deck. The extra, let's start with the standard stuff. 2 Ganahawk, 2 Nochu, Gaia, Apilio, Falco, and Rotari. This is, I'm pretty sure everyone agrees on these. I've seen people have some debate on which Psychic to dump with Rampengu. I personally think Ulti Rayra was a lot better, mostly because I wanted to like summon this off of Winda, I found it more useful than Gaia Pelio. Having an extra Gaia Pelio is nice for certain Nibiru lines, but I didn't have the time to like wholly understand all of the lines, and I thought that this would be more generally applicable, and that's what I run. I loved it. I was very happy with the second reroute, and I would prefer it over Ulti Gaia and Ulti Kimon, like a second copy. But I'm sure like some more experienced Ritual Beast players would have some better insight on this. I just played this and it felt fine. And finally I ran Ulti Pelio for the target instead of Ulti Petalfin. I think most people run this. Some people I've seen cut this, but it felt fine. It was always good to be able to dump another piece. For some more generics, we got the card that makes the deck work. Yeah, the goal of the deck usually is just to get to this card. You can play games where you don't Protoss, but if you can't Protoss safely, usually it gets the job done, especially against fire. We got the card that makes it so your Rerow is now water, which lets you Protoss water. Didn't end up summoning it a single time. I said it out plenty of times, but in theory, this is what you do against Merrill. You just Rerow, use the value, and then you just turn it into Zealantis and Protoss water, and they can't play. Finally, we had 4 slots. SP, really useful. Cross Sheep, it is very useful in some advanced lines with Nachi Dragu. I didn't end up abusing it very much. I did get it to revive a flag that got destroyed on someone. It's useful. I just couldn't use the best applicabilities of it, but I think that was a fine choice to run. Also lets you Protoss Earth, which is nice against some decks. And you just want to have a link 4 in case you need a link 2 in case you need an extra attribute for Protoss. We run Anima, same idea with Protoss. It's nice to be able to link 1 into for Crush Sheep. It's nice to have an extra attribute that you can just link Alara with, and also it's kind of useful into breaking boards and making SP. And finally we run Baguska. This was mostly for Tenpai, but I ended up summoning it more against other decks. Reirao is a really oppressive card if it can stop the links that Baguska can't, so that's a very good combination. And yeah, if Tenpai can't get rid of this, they can't attack you, and also their stuff doesn't work. That was the extra deck. You'll see that it's only 15 cards. That's because we're playing some more over here, but we'll get to there. First, the mandatory back row removal. This deck struggles with back row, so you gotta play some back row removal. We didn't like Lightning and Duster because it could be blocked by stuff like Auxila and other cards. And this, we weren't sure how good our matchup against Centurion was, so having this is really nice. And yeah, it's a really versatile card. It can get rid of anti-spell, it can get rid of a lot of stuff. It's just a good card. I would still prefer it over Lightning Storm or Duster, although sometimes I did play against Stun and I missed being able to pop everything. Then Folas. A lot of people run this in the main. We run 40 instead of 43, but I felt like consistency was more important, so we wanted to draw Shifter more, we wanted to draw the engine more, so we put this on the side. The Folos was really good. I didn't get to resolve it much because either I didn't see it or they would ash it or they just not play into it. But in theory, it's a really good card, and well, it won the finals, so it's a pretty good choice. Then we get some more toxic cards. We got Featherstorm. Yeah, this is an interaction that shouldn't be in the game, but we are running it. There's Harpy Conductor is a Harpy name, so it lets you use Featherstorm from the hand, so you can use it either in your turn or in their turn, regardless. It only requires 2 wind monsters, so you just link any 2 Ritual Beasts that are in SBTL, and you just get to do this. I ended up doing it 3 times to one opponent, and I won plenty of times by doing it too. Just you draw Storm, and they just can't play. You just skip their turn. Yeah, it's the same thing as Flu. Finally, some funny cards that I really like. I don't think I have to go very deep into them. And we had one more slot, and I really like TTT. as a flex option. It's we had one spot for siding into a lot of decks, and we just felt like TTT would fit very nicely going second. I did run it going first against some matchups, but mostly it was a going second card, and every single time I drew it going second, it performed beautifully. I always love to play this card in my decks, and I wish I could play more, but there's this stuff. We're already running 2 extra deck monsters in the side, and we literally would play like 20 if we could. And yeah, that's the deck.
Wow, Antonio, so much information. Tell us about the shoutouts.
Yeah, so I have a bunch of shoutouts of all the people that helped me get to the event and also helped me prepare for it. First of all, shoutouts to Fernando Arazo, who basically like lent me the entire deck. I think the only card that I own in the entire deck was of the engine was one copy of Rare Atari. The rest is all his. So thank you very much for lending me this in the last minute. Thank you to David, who also lent me the Banshee, and shoutouts to every single member of Nemesis who helped me test and theorize the deck with, especially David Bo and Escuero, who were really helpful in testing for hours and hours on end. I don't think I would be able to have prepared for the deck or learned Ritual Beast in a week if it weren't for them. It was an incredible undertaking. And yeah, we did it. It was pretty good.
Congratulations, Antonio. See you in the next video.